the Workers' Party of Korea that makes selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the people. Respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un said, "Let the whole party make selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the great people. This is the fighting slogan our party should be holding high at present. We should regard it as an iron rule to respect the people, defend their destiny, and give the highest and absolute priority to their interests and comfort." Since the first day of embarking on the road of the revolution holding aloft the red flag, the Workers' Party of Korea has made selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the people. Making selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the people is its mode of existence and its revolutionary traits. Making selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the people is the greatest love for and devotion to the people, regarding the materialization of the people's demand and interests as the most important affair, and unsparingly devoting everything, even life, for the sake of them. The guiding ideology of the Workers' Party of Korea is Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism. That is the people first principle. Its ultimate goal is to completely realize the independence of the masses, and the supreme principle of its activity is to steadily improve the people's standard of living. In their lifetime, President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il made self-sacrificing efforts for the people, regarding them as heaven and as their teachers. Carrying forward the great leader's noble intention and popular traits, Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un approaches the people as he would do the great leaders, and hold them in esteem as he would do the great leaders. In the whole course of leading the revolution, the Workers' Party of Korea has given the highest absolute priority to the interests and comfort of the people. The people's interests and comfort always take the first place in the thinking and practice of the Workers' Party of Korea and its leader, that regard the people as omnipotent beings and the most precious beings, and the revolution as a struggle to realize their independent demands and interests. They have given first consideration to the people's demands and interests when advancing a policy or adopting a decision, and to their comfort when building a factory. Since the liberation of the country, the Workers' Party of Korea has advanced numerous people-oriented policies and granted additional benefits to the people. All the policies enforced in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea are the fruition of noble love of the party and the leader for the people. When President Kim Il-sung was visiting Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh asked him, how could the DPRK, a socialist country, give free education to the students and provide them with school uniforms at a low price, while Vietnam, also a socialist country, charges money for education as it had failed to raise funds amounting to 60 million dong. The president said, "My country channels great efforts into the development of school education, even though it means sacrificing other sectors. It appropriates such a large sum of money, not because it is a rich country." The people-oriented policies like universal compulsory education and universal free medical service that command the admiration of the world can be enforced only by the Workers' Party of Korea, a genuine motherly party that holds the people dear and bears full responsibility for their destiny. love of the party and the leaders that are ready to pluck even a star and sacrifice fabulous amounts of wealth unsparingly can be felt everywhere in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Typical examples are jewel-encrusted floor in the central hall of the Pyongyang Maternity Hospital, the Grand People's Study House in the central part of the capital, the Sci-Tech complex on Suk Island, a great hall for studying by all people, schools and branch schools built in bright and cozy places and on islands, school children's palaces, children's camps, cultural relaxation parks located in picturesque places, and public service facilities in residential districts. In late August and early September 2016, one city and 5 counties in the northern region of North Hamgyong province were stricken by unprecedented storms and heavy rain. People of tens of thousands of households were left homeless. As soon as it received the news, the Workers' Party of Korea called its membership, the entire army and all people, to the rehabilitation campaign, declaring that the people's suffering is a matter of greatest emergency, that nothing is more important than relieving the people of the misfortune, and that basis for a happy life should be provided to the people before the cold sets in, even by enlisting the whole wealth of the country. The campaign turned into struggle to defend the people, serve them. During the campaign, the DPRK made sure that the children in the region were sent to the children's camp to spend pleasant days, and sent clothes, shoes, school things, blankets, complete sets of vessels, and different kinds of foodstuffs to the people. The heroic struggle of the army and the people who turned out true to the great love for the people and the call of the party brought about a miraculous victory in the theater of the campaign. Chairman Kim Jong-il, who was identical to President Kim Il-sung, covered the road of love for the country and the people, even on his birthdays and holidays. He traveled cliffy roads to inspect army units on the front, saying that the Supreme Commander should climb steep passes on the front in nasty weather so that he could learn the living of the soldiers. Rain or shine, he continued his super intense first march of field guidance in order to bring the people's happiness into full bloom. In his lifetime, President Kim Il-sung made public 3,443 works related to improving the people's standard of living. The number of the works made public by the great leaders, the routes of their field guidance, and the number of units they gave field guidance at to improve the people's standard of living show the devotion and painstaking efforts they made for the people's well-being and happiness. Carrying forward their noble intentions and people-oriented traits, Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un is making selfless, devoted efforts for the good of the people with a will to hold the people in greater reverence. He sets out on the journey for people early in the morning and does not hesitate to brave the rain, snow and wind if it is for providing the people with a happy life. In this way, he visited the basis for stock breeding, fish and fruit farming, cultural and emotional life, including the Back to Sun Hero Youth Power Station in the rugged northern region and fishery stations. Over the past 5 years, his revolutionary activities, to mention only those reported officially, number hundreds. The world-startling miracles created in succession in the DPRK are the fruition of the extraordinary and energetic leadership of Kim Jong-un, who is always on the road of field guidance, traveling by air, by car, or by ship. Numerous factories, enterprises, and bases of cultural and emotional life have sprung up under his guidance. His devotion for the people emanates from his will to defy death, if it is for the sake of the people. In recent years, he made sure that factories and enterprises, including the Ryongaksan Soap Factory, Mindle Notebook Factory, and Pyongyang Egg Factory, were built for the improvement of the people's standard of living, and personally visited them to give detailed instructions on faithfully serving the people. He also saw to it that the hostel at the Pyongyang Kim Jong-suk Silk Mill was renovated to provide the workers with the highest level of living conditions. From the image of Kim Jong-un, who willingly shoulders all the burden and pushes his way even through the thorny path, devoting himself for the sake of the people, people see the images of the great leaders and the image of their motherly mother. Workers' Party of Korea safeguarded the destiny of the country and nation from the imperialist aggression and arbitrariness. By dint of Sun-gun, it has resolutely made headway against enemy's military blackmail and aggressive moves aimed at violating the sovereignty of country and the destiny of the people and stifling the Juche-oriented socialist system, winning successive victories in the protracted anti-imperialist, anti-US showdown. At present, various parts of the world are still being devastated by war, and people in a number of countries are still wandering in search of a means of survival. But the gunfire of war has not been reported in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea for several decades, and its people, though they are not well off, are leading a peaceful and stable life, free from war. This is thanks entirely to Sun-gun politics administered by the Workers' Party of Korea. And this is the greatest achievement it has made on the road of making selfless and devoted efforts for the good of the people. The DPRK has emerged as a nuclear-armed nation power, a military power in the East, which no one dares to provoke, thanks to the self-sacrificing devotion and efforts of the Workers' Party of Korea to drive the imperialist and reactionary forces into shameful ruin and defend the destiny of the country and the people. And thanks to Sun-gun, the national sovereignty, the people's right to existence and their destiny could be reliably safeguarded. To his pledge to become a true servant loyal to the people with a pure conscience, Kim Jong-un, chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea, makes effort to set up across the party a revolutionary climate of making selfless devoted efforts for the good of the people, while making his selfless devoted efforts for them. As he leads the DPRK, the history of prioritizing, respecting, and loving the people continues as ever, and the future of the Korean people is bright.